Picture this. You're in a room full of people. A project fails. A mistake is made. And immediately, before anyone even asks, someone speaks up. It's not my fault. I told them this wouldn't work. Everyone shifts uncomfortably. The energy changes. Because in that single moment, that person just revealed everything about their character. Not through their accomplishments. Not through their appearance. Through 5 simple words. The ancient Stoics understood something most people miss. If you want to know a man's character, don't look at his wealth. Don't look at his clothes. Don't even look at his achievements. Look at his words. A man's tongue is the window to his mind. The Stoics often reminded us that speech is the mirror of the soul. And just as rotten fruit reveals the health of the tree, careless words reveal the weakness of the mind. Your words are not neutral. They're not just sounds that disappear into air. Every phrase you speak is a confession. Every sentence you utter is a testimony about who you are at your core. Your beliefs, your fears, your character, your level of wisdom or foolishness. Today on Stoic True Wisdom, we're going to uncover 5 things a foolish man always says. These are phrases that strip away the mask and reveal ignorance, arrogance, insecurity, and weakness. These are the verbal patterns that betray a lack of wisdom, discipline, and self-mastery. And here's why this matters. If you recognize these words in yourself, consider this a wake-up call. A call to change. A call to rise. Because awareness is the first step to transformation. And if you hear them constantly from others, it's a warning. A warning about who you're dealing with. A warning about whose counsel you're seeking. A warning about who deserves your time, your trust, your energy. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't just about thinking. It was about living. And living wisely begins with speaking wisely. So let's dive deep. Let's examine these 5 phrases. Let's hold up the mirror. Are you ready?
Sorry for the interruption. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and comment your once subscribed. Give me motivation. Let's start.
Phrase 1. It's not my fault. The first cry of a weak man is always blame. Whenever life challenges him, whenever he faces failure, disappointment, or difficulty, his instinct is not reflection. It's accusation. He doesn't look inward. He looks outward. He points the finger at fate, at society, at his family, at the economy, at luck, at timing, at other people, anything and anyone but himself. Think about the people you know who use this phrase constantly. The coworker who blames the team when a project fails. The friend who blames his ex for all his relationship problems. The family member who blames society for their lack of success. Every failure has a scapegoat. Every mistake has an external cause, except the person in the mirror. But Marcus Aurelius gave us the opposite approach. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Read that again. You have power over your mind, not outside events. The stupid man escapes responsibility because responsibility feels heavy. It feels burdensome. It feels like admitting weakness. But here's the paradox the Stoics understood. A strong man embraces responsibility precisely because he knows that responsibility is the training ground for virtue. When he fails, he doesn't ask, "Who can I blame?" He asks, "What can I learn?" When he stumbles, he doesn't ask, "Who tripped me?" He asks, "How can I rise stronger?" When he is wronged, he doesn't ask, "Who hurt me?" He asks, "What is still within my control?" This is the fundamental difference between the fool and the wise man. The fool sees himself as a victim of circumstances. The wise man sees himself as the author of his responses. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that injustice doesn't exist. I'm not saying that bad things don't happen to good people. I'm not saying that external circumstances don't matter. They do. But here's what the Stoics understood. Blame is easy, but it keeps you powerless. Ownership is hard, but it makes you unstoppable. When you blame others, you surrender your power to them. You make your happiness, your success, your peace dependent on people and things you cannot control. But when you take ownership, even when it's painful, even when it's unfair, you reclaim your power. Because the moment you say it's not my fault, you're also saying it's not my responsibility to fix it. And the moment you say that, you become a passenger in your own life. The wise man refuses to be a passenger. He takes the wheel, always. Phrase 2. I already know that. The second mark of foolishness is arrogance disguised as knowledge. A stupid man closes his ears with this phrase. He interrupts wisdom by declaring, I already know that. He hears advice and dismisses it. He encounters a lesson and waves it away, because in his mind, he's already arrived. He's already learned. He's already mastered. But Epictetus warned us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Think about that. It's impossible, not difficult, impossible. When you approach life with the attitude of, I already know, you've closed the door to growth. You've sealed yourself inside a prison of false mastery. You've chosen the comfort of illusion over the discomfort of truth. Wisdom requires humility, and humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. It's recognizing that no matter how much you know, there's infinitely more you don't. The man who says, I already know that, has chosen to stop growing. He prefers the illusion of mastery over the reality of ignorance. He'd rather feel smart than actually become wise. But the wise man, he approaches life as an eternal student. Even in repetition, he finds depth. Even in familiar lessons, he discovers new meaning. He knows that hearing something twice doesn't mean understanding it fully. That reading something once doesn't mean mastering it completely. Consider this. How many times have you heard, take responsibility for your life? Hundreds? Thousands? Yet how many people actually live by it? Knowing something intellectually is not the same as embodying it practically. The Stoics admired Socrates, who said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This is not false modesty. This is strategic humility. Because when you admit you don't know, you open yourself to learning. When you acknowledge your ignorance, you invite wisdom. A fool resists this truth. He protects his ego at the expense of his growth. A wise man lives by it. He sacrifices his ego for the sake of his evolution. So here's the question. When someone offers you advice, when someone shares a lesson, when someone points out a pattern, do you immediately think, I already know that? Or do you pause and ask, what can I learn from this perspective? Because the moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop becoming better. Phrase 3, that's impossible. The third phrase reveals defeat before the battle even begins. That's impossible. To the stupid man, challenges look like walls, solid, insurmountable, permanent. Instead of trying, he gives up. Instead of daring, he shrinks. Instead of exploring possibilities, he declares impossibility. He convinces himself that some things are beyond reach, not because they truly are, but because he is unwilling to endure the discomfort, the discipline, the struggle required to achieve them. But Seneca reminded us of a profound truth. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Read that slowly. It's not difficulty that stops us. It's our unwillingness to dare. Most impossibilities are simply limits of imagination and courage. What looks impossible is often just what others have not yet attempted. What appears unreachable is often just what requires more effort than most are willing to give. Think about the things that were once impossible. Running a 4-minute mile until Roger Bannister did it. Human flight until the Wright brothers achieved it. Instant global communication until the internet connected us. Artificial intelligence until engineers built it. Every impossible thing remained impossible until someone refused to accept that label. To the coward, effort feels meaningless. Why try if it's impossible, he asks. To the Stoic, effort is meaning itself. The trying is the point. The struggle is the victory. A man who always says, that's impossible, dies many small deaths. Every time he utters those words, a piece of his potential withers. Every time he surrenders before starting, he reinforces his own weakness. But the man who says, let me try, he discovers possibilities others never dreamed of. He doesn't guarantee success. He guarantees growth. He doesn't promise victory. He promises learning. And here's what the Stoics understood. Even in failure, The man who dares gains more than the man who never tried. Because attempting the impossible and failing teaches you more than never attempting at all. So when you face a challenge that seems overwhelming, don't ask, "Is this possible?" Ask, "Am I willing to find out?" Because impossibility is often just another word for, "I'm scared to try." Phrase 4, I don't care. The fourth phrase seems harmless on the surface. Casual, indifferent, maybe even cool. I don't care, but it reveals deep weakness. Now, the Stoics did teach us about indifference, but their indifference was noble. It was strategic detachment from things outside our control: wealth, fame, reputation, pleasure, pain. Marcus Aurelius practiced indifference to external outcomes while caring deeply about internal virtue. But when a foolish man says, "I don't care," he is not practicing Stoic wisdom. He is hiding. He's hiding his fear of effort. He's disguising his laziness. He's masking his lack of purpose. Epictetus made a critical distinction. Some things are within our control, others are not. The wise man does not care about what lies outside his control: the opinions of others, the behavior of fools, the randomness of fate. But he cares deeply, passionately, intensely about what is within his control: his choices, his character, his integrity, his effort, his discipline. The fool uses "I don't care" as an escape from duty, as a shield from responsibility, as an excuse for mediocrity. I don't care about my health. Translation: I'm too lazy to exercise. I don't care what people think. Translation: I'm afraid of judgment, so I'll pretend it doesn't exist. I don't care about success. Translation: I'm scared of failure, so I'll pretend I never wanted it. The Stoic uses "I don't care" as liberation from illusions, as freedom from external validation, as focus on what truly matters. One is weakness, the other is strength. One is surrender, the other is sovereignty. Ask yourself, when you say "I don't care," are you practicing Stoic indifference to external noise? Or are you hiding from internal responsibility? Because the wise man cares deeply about the right things, and he's indifferent to everything else. Phrase 5, what's in it for me? Finally, we arrive at the phrase that exposes selfishness at its core. What's in it for me? The stupid man sees every situation as a transaction, every relationship as an exchange, every act of kindness as an investment with expected returns. Friendship? He weighs its utility. Loyalty? He calculates its benefits. Kindness? He measures its rewards. For him, life is a marketplace where everything has a price tag and every person has a use value. And the moment you stop providing value, he disappears. But Marcus Aurelius reminded us of a greater truth. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee. Life is not about endless taking. It's about what you contribute to the whole. It's about recognizing that you are part of a larger system, a family, a community, a society, humanity itself. A wise man seeks contribution, not exploitation. He understands that a meaningful life is measured not by what you possess, but by who you become through service, through virtue, through courage, through giving. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who've had the deepest impact on your life. Were they constantly asking, "What's in it for me?" Or were they asking, "How can I help? What can I give? Where can I serve?" The Stoics believe that human beings are social creatures designed for cooperation, that we flourish not in isolation, but in connection, that our greatest fulfillment comes not from accumulation, but from contribution. A man who only asks, "What's in it for me?" dies empty even if his hands are full. His bank account might be large, but his soul is bankrupt. His possessions might be many, but his purpose is absent. A man who asks, "What can I give?" dies fulfilled even if his hands are empty, because he's accumulated something no thief can steal and no market can measure: character, integrity, meaning, legacy. So here's the question. When you enter a room, are you thinking, "What can I take from these people?" Or are you thinking, "What can I offer?" Because that question reveals everything about who you are. The Stoics remind us, words are not just sounds. They are not just communication. Words are habits of thought made audible. Every phrase you speak repeatedly becomes a groove in your mind. Every sentence you utter habitually shapes your character. Your vocabulary is a map of your soul and a prophecy of your future. A stupid man exposes his weakness through his speech. "It's not my fault" reveals his powerlessness. "I already know that" reveals his arrogance. "That's impossible" reveals his cowardice. "I don't care" reveals his emptiness. "What's in it for me" reveals his selfishness. But a wise man, guided by philosophy, speaks with humility, responsibility, courage, purpose, and generosity. He says, "What can I learn from this?" instead of blaming. He says, "Tell me more," instead of dismissing. He says, "Let me try," instead of surrendering. He says, "This matters to me," instead of hiding. He says, "How can I contribute?" instead of extracting. And here's what most people don't realize. You can change your destiny by changing your words. Because when your language rises, your character follows. When you speak like a wise man, you begin thinking like one. When you think like one, you begin acting like one. And when you act like one, you become one. This is not about perfection. This is about awareness. About catching yourself before these foolish phrases leave your mouth. About consciously choosing words that reflect the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. At Stoicism and Stoic, we believe that ancient wisdom has modern power. That philosophy is not abstract theory, but practical tool. That the words of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus can transform your life if you let them. So here's my challenge. For the next 24 hours, listen to yourself. Really listen. Catch these 5 phrases before they escape your lips. Replace them with wiser alternatives. Because your words today are building your tomorrow. If you gained value from this, subscribe to Stoicism and Stoic for more life-changing lessons from the ancients. Let us walk together on the path of strength, discipline, and peace. Your words matter. Choose them wisely.